So this is what we're making, a piece of jewelry with a message in braille. Now, I made a bracelet. It can be anything, as long as your metal is flat. When you stamp it, you'll be right. Yeah, I like it. Oh, goes that way. Those are L's. Ciao. Open your browser. And if it's like mine, it'll take forever. Type in braille alphabet. Search. And what you want is, I think it's the alphabet card. Now, yeah. What you want is to be able to right-click on these and copy. And what I'll do is I'll go to a different site that's got a slightly different setup. When you get this set up, turn it so you can see a little better. By being able to highlight this and click on it, then we can transfer that to a Word document. Yeah, so that's a J. And the way this works is, once you open this, you'll be able to see you have a rectangle, and some of the dots are in the top of the rectangle and some of them are in the bottom. So you have to keep that rectangular space, otherwise you won't know what's happening. And but this particular site gives you the punctuation marks to be able to translate this into Spanish or French or whatever. It is just the alphabet, and then by using different punctuation, you'd be able to switch to different languages. So what we're going to do is keep this open. We're going to open a Word document, and then by copying the various letters and pasting them onto our Word document, we'll be able to make the pattern for our piece. So what I want is L, copy, go back to my Word document, paste it. Yeah, so that's my L. O, I think you'll see where I'm going here. Copy. Paste. So do the message, whatever you're going to say, and then print this out, and this is what we'll use to make our piece of jewelry from. Now, with this particular site, as I print this out, it's telling me what each one of the letters are down here. But I think this is going to be a lovely piece of jewelry because it's very subtle. You can say whatever you want to say, not broadcast it to the world. And if you have somebody that you really want to know what you say, if it's something heartfelt, you can tell them. Otherwise, you can tell them anything. They won't know unless they're blind, and then you can't lie. So create your message, print it out, and I'll show you what to do next. Now, each one of these letters is its own image. So if you click on it and you get this box, what you can do is you can either make it bigger or you can make it smaller. But what you want to do is make them all the same size. So once you get this the way you want it printed out, I just printed mine out the size that was on there to see what it was, and this will do for what I want to do for this piece. This is the site that I used, which has the different things that I need. There are all kinds of different sites, but this one is a very user-friendly site. So cut out your strip and be sure you keep it oriented up and left to right. Because we're going to have to make this so that we can put it on the back. Now, you can print this in reverse, but I'm just going to cut this out, use my punch where each one of the dots is, tape it onto my piece, and then form it from the back. Less of a chance of mistakes, I think. I'm just going to take a sharp scribe, and at each dot I'm going to just push onto a piece of soft wood, and you can see that I'll have my spots. So do them all. Look at it against the light and you'll be able to tell whether you got all of your marks or not. If you did, we're ready to rock and roll. Now, we want this to read this way, so just switch it straight to the back and tape it into place. Yeah. So we know that's what it wants to say. Orient it and do that. It'll save from having a problem later. Double-sided tape. Now what you don't want for the next step is a sharp punch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sacrilegiously file the point off, sand it, and what we want is basically a small round embossing tool. We don't want to puncture the metal. But we want the dot to be able to be quite raised. So once you get your little embossing tool done, we're going to put our pattern with our metal, and the metal should be annealed. You should be able to order this from your supplier, either dead soft or half hard, and they should cut you the size you need, because most material comes 150 long. Now this is 16 mil wide, 150 long, and I've got my pattern on the back. Now I'm going to just put this on my soft wooden block and take my embossing punch, and each spot where I have my dot marked, we want to tap it so that we end up with a bump. Yep, a nice bump that you can feel with your fingertip. So do the whole thing. Yes, it will distort it, but that's all right. We can sort it out after we're done. Yes, looks like braille to me. So do the whole bracelet. When you have all of your embossing done, take your pattern off, and what I do is I leave the tape attached to it. Comes off easier that way. And we know that that's up and that's to the right. So what I'm going to do is match that to my bracelet to make sure it says what I want it to say. Great. Now round the ends and just take either a rawhide or a Bonnie Doon hammer and form this around a ball. What we don't want is we don't want any other hammer marks in it, and we don't want to hammer out our embossed marks. So cut this, trim it, sand it, and then I'll show you how I form this. So hallmark it if it's precious metal. Get your rawhide hammer and your forming ball, which could be your toe ball, the towing ball that goes on your car, trailer hitch in the U.S. So just hold this tight against your ball, and I'm just forming the edges. So it'll give just a slight curve, and it'll give this curve at the same time. Yeah. And then when you're finished, just bend the ends the way you want them. Yeah, so I'm purposely not hitting our embossed marks. Now, if you were careful with your material, when you got the material from your supplier, it would have been fairly pristine, no marks on it. And you shouldn't have done anything to put any big marks on it. Now this is before polishing, and it's okay. The edges need to be smoothed a little bit with sandpaper. And part of what we need to do is when we're making jewelry is not put marks in it that we don't mean to put in it. Yeah. So this is fairly good the way it is, and it'll polish quite easily. Because I ordered it dead soft, no fire scale. So this was just a little bit of forming, and we don't have to worry about polishing out the fire scale. We could almost go straight to rouge, except there are a few little marks in it. So Tripoli, then rouge. The big polisher, if you have it, could just as easily go in a tumbler. Handheld polishing wheel. It should be easily done. And there you go. Polish it. Secret message.